Namo manjo shri ye, namo so shri ye, namo u dhamma shri ye soha. O namo manjo shri ye, namo so shri ye, namo u dhamma shri ye soha. O namo manjo shri ye, namo so shri ye, namo u dhamma shri ye soha. Chanchu Padu Dani Gasuji, Dagi Junye Gibe Sonangi, Jola Menje Sangi Joma Jo, Pegi Jushin Medo Zhang, Rira Lishi Nide Kimbadi, Sangi Shindo Mide Uwai, Joge Nanda Shinla Jeba Jo, Ye Dang Guru Rana Mendala Kaniya, Ayam.
어디 가서 운동시 리더랑 리더랑 주디데 대화나 시시와 담는 이 인디니 나고 대단하다 다른 뭐랑 되게 차이라면 말아 된다 두고 썼다 이 당고도 조지적 쓰레기 좀 참으시고 뭔가 차이라면 좀 조지적 쓰레기 좀 참으시고 그러지 애들의 간단한 비슷 대장 운동을 든 비슷 대장 제대로 나 우리는 우양 비가라 대단다 조지적 인디니가 대단하다 좀 두고 조지적 쓰레기 좀 쓰다는 뜻이 나나나 간다 우양들의 나우에는 야는 안가 스킨스 상대같이 이게 마땅한 거라 지와처럼 처음만으로 쓰고 뒤바른 거라 나팅이지만 전선은 반환 관계를 두고서 들이 해려지는 것 같아 이래서 네가 됐어 그래서 그렇지 뭐
We do breathing meditations. So please sit according to the posture of Vairocana. And in the sky in front of us, we visualize a Buddha Shakyamuni, whose nature is no different from our Guru. And Buddha Shakyamuni is surrounded by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions. Then we conjoin these breathing meditations with the nectar purification practice. So then we visualize from Buddhas and entourage, light rays radiate in the form of 5 colors, together with nectar. And then when we breathe in, we visualize, we breathe in the light nectar into our bodies. And this light nectar fills up our body. And when we breathe out, we visualize all our negativities, obscurations, and the such come out from our body together with out breath in the form of black smoke and vanish in the space. So we breathe in. First, we breathe in with right nostril and breathe out with left nostril. We do this for 3 times. Then we breathe in with left nostril and breathe out with right nostril for 3 times. Followed by breathing in and out with both nostrils.
But you just do much noise in the tongue, dog same day, one of the cutting to each other. Mama Jiba Chicken, Mashiba, 20 Michigan, that Jinji Mandana, the one there, Nando Kolo Chibu, that doing he no Dika Kichi, Jinji Mandana. There were pieces about dinner chamber, Demba Chichi, Demba Shower, this Shamabushas.
So we think all sentient beings, numberless sentient beings who are in the state of sufferings have been our mothers before. And their kindness to us was exactly the same as the mothers of this life. So all numberless mother sentient beings, though wanting happiness and do not want sufferings, not knowing the object of abandonment and adoptions properly, only create negative karma that bring forth only sufferings. So in our mind, cultivate loving kindness, thinking, how nice if all sentient beings have happiness. May they have happiness. I will cause them to have happiness.
Otherwise, nice and Jetta town, goes into the short town that Dana Jim, Java Chichi, Java Shower, something.
Next, we cultivate compassion. So wishing all sentient beings be free from sufferings, be free, may their three doors be free of sufferings.
What the Mojina is in the town, she called and so Dumalia doing the syllables, Nirala Politati, as Yanta of the Sanji Kumbala to be better. Then you got a serious Yanta of the Sanjila. This is a Tonji to the Sanji Kumbata show conscious.
Next, we cultivate bodhicitta. So asking oneself, who has the responsibility to free all mother sentient beings from the sufferings of three lower realms and from samsara? I have the responsibility to free all sentient beings from sufferings. However, I do not have the ability right now to free them from sufferings. Only the perfect, complete Buddha has the ability to free them from sufferings. Therefore, for the sake of all sentient beings, I want to become Buddha.
That your tongue is on each to a different countries on each to be done.
Next, we meditate on emptiness. So all phenomena do not exist inherently, and thus they are empty of inherent existence.
That she is in the Tonji to the Sanji Kumbata, but the each other. That debate you will lose in the money. Chicken, and it's super the something. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so for the sake of all sentient beings, I want to become Buddha. For this purpose, I'm going to receive the Mahayana teachings of my training and put it into practice.
But someday, there, Kanamada, you the Japan, Mother no, Baba Gumba, Limits of the then no, she go Shasi.
So we start from verse 15.
There is this more doings. In the environment, this more chickens comes in the Shivan, so this more wishes. Teacher agreement this more doings.
So today I will teach, I will cover more verses because in April, the Tuesday class falls on the Puja days as well. So today I will cover more verses.
That's it, Tambodilla. The Kanya Mother Yudicipana, Mother no Taba Gombai, the Lingan Sajaran, Dana Bashi Bashazi. That's it, that shares.
And so verse 15, whenever we are born in any impure place whatsoever, it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us, for having constantly habituated ourselves with impure appearances. Now we should habituate ourselves with pure appearances alone.
Mother be used to the direct on the tender, a Dodoshina. You tell a kanda, Nia, Mambuji, Manchuta, Migila so Mambo. That on the Shinkana, Loto Soshida Maraba. That Shinkana, Loto, success Sadu Chidi, and Dribu Mindo Chidi, ya, Nashi in Juatani, ya, Samala Chaya. Nashi in Juata, such a tumble in the Chaya. Dribu Sadu Chidi says, Nashi Tomu Kensachi chair, the Chevina, and Dribu Sakati Salaya, Chamu. Or the business. That mother be using what they do. That kind of you kind of Gani Janja Chase, you deliver kind of Saya and Toya Gumbochi, or Nia Mamboji, two sellers of the Mambo UN. That continually Chiba this lower. That continually mother be in a Chibati, that Suzuki laying in Bakarsa or yes, or indeed Chia Lake Karsa or yes. Tabari hit mother be no one Janja Goan. Karisana de Shinji Lega Sambu Chena in the Yabu State Jeta. Jambu Chena Mada Panawa. That Tambu Majina and Mada Panawa in Irwa. That Lega Kandijina Sama Madaba Shaga Pitabu Menjo. Di Yabu Marite, Sambu Marin Susu Nawa Bashi Janja Sanda Di Namichin Debutilla. We can't also Madame Yula Chiva years ago.
So whenever we are born in any impure place whatsoever, this impure place refers to a place where a pandemic happens, where wars and conflicts happens, where famine, natural disaster like famine happens, and a place where it's difficult to find food to eat and clean water to drink. Like for example, a place where you cannot harvest the crop because of the land and etc. Because of other factors, then you cannot harvest a good crop, and you do not have good harvest. And even if you it's about time to harvest those crops, then due to weather, like for example frost or hail, and then it destroy the crops. And even though you may get some crops, however, it has turned a bitter taste, and you cannot enjoy the delicious taste out of it anymore. So basically, a place where many difficulties happens, a place where you will face a lot of difficulties and problems. So that is what impure place refers to. So by accumulating what kinds of negative karma, then we experience the result of being born in such impure place. And the cause is for having constantly habituated ourselves with impure appearances. Impure appearances, in other words, is impure perceptions. Like for example, even though others they are doing good deeds, and then due to your impure perceptions, then you see the good deeds as a negative deeds, as a bad deeds. You only see the faults in others. Even though they are trying to do good things, and you only see the negative side out of it. And others being honest with you, and then you only see the negative side of it as well. So since we are constantly habituated ourselves with these impure appearances or impure perceptions, then this creates a negative karma of being born in impure places. Is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us? So now we should habituate ourselves with pure appearances alone, pure appearances or pure perceptions. So knowing the cause of being born in impure places is our habituations to the impure perceptions. Therefore, we should not search for, we should not, so we should not look for faults in others, and then we should look at the good side of others and training ourselves with these pure perceptions. So our habit is we always look for faults in others, and we do not check ourselves whether we have the same faults or not. So this is impure appearances or impure perceptions. So when you see faults in others, then you before you start to criticize others, then you have to check yourself whether you have the same faults or not. So and since we are ordinary beings, then we most probably will have the same faults as well. So since I have the same faults as well, so I'm not in the positions to look for to criticize them and etc. So if I were to criticize them, then I will create a negative karma. So you have to think to yourself in this way. So then if we habituated ourselves with these impure appearances or impure perceptions, then there is a danger because of these habituations, then there is a danger that we will even see faults in our object of refuge, for example, our lama. So, and if we, due to these habituations, if we were to see faults in our guru, then it will create a negative karma. Therefore, we have to train our mind. Verse 16. Wherever we are separated from helpful and loving friends, it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us for having enticed others' servant away from them. Now we should no longer part others from their servants.
다 된다데 핑kin자의 조다 자이세세 다스 간다랑라 배 최다 상질라서 간야로에 핑도시로와 상질라서 외비고네랑라 핑바 마두장 다 핑지 이주비 벤자오 조보요로와 자오 조보다 수수 간다 가사 조보 조모 간디나 난지 디지의 님도 예 갑자타메 예 하장 자세 첨부 용기 일로에로 다 든디 용기 리드라다 간다 사수 파마이나다 빈자이나다 조보 조모이나다 베소소 베 하장에 내가 첨부 용기 다 드소라 소소 베 카장데 니마치 치치치 까마치나 소소 베 카장데 메야게 든디 시험 첨부 지사지로 오다도 소소 문제기다 다 카타고야 차오여래 카타고야 문제기도 카타고바 에 정하면 봐 니빠 카타고야 좀 요거래 다 된다와데 다 간다 소소기로 다디 신진 코나 다 된다들이 신진 코나 다 카타고 다디 든디 요구야 소소기 레데 제비데 레 가르사와레스나 다 지왕아마다 쳔데 간디나로와 다 신지 라마다 로마 기기 게투 만산 나머지 로와 파마 빈체 조보 조모 그 참아 간다 수수기 배 참아신 그저 빈지 문디 봤어요 그저 문디 봤어요 그저 가시 로와 자만지 봐 빈진 대화해 봤어요 어떤 든디기 내가 봐서 예세고 로와 빈지 그래서 배 랑기 문디바 소바 마치 신라 든디 문디바 소드티바 든디 레냐 바사비 왕게 뜻소소 다랑게 하장게 치치까마다 자가이 든디 제와 제동요사게 제와요사리 하요사 디소다 차이 예데 제베테 두스미 바레세고
Yeah, so whenever we are separated from helpful and loving friends, so it refers to those beloved ones, or those friends, or those family members, or those whom we know, then they offer our helps, like for example, give Dharma advices, or offer material things to us, or those with whom we have good connections, or those we have good friendships or relationship. So to those closest one, and then we don't even feel like wanting to part from them for even 1 minute. So such a strong relationship or connections with them. So however, then we have no choice, have to separate from them, that we have to go to other places, or we cannot stay together anymore. So what caused this? So what caused these experiences? What caused this experience? And it is because in the past, then we caused separations between lamas and disciples, teachers and students, parents and their children's friends and families. So we caused separations among or between those friends and lamas and students and etc. So by telling divisive speech, so cause a disharmonious between them, and then cause separations in the group. So and not only we ourselves created that negative karma, we also ask others to do or to create this negative karma as well. So because of this negative karma, then we have to experience the results of separating from our beloved friends. As having understood that this experience is caused by separating others, or causing separations in others, like for example, lamas and disciples, friends and families, teachers and students, friends and families, and because of this negative karma, that's why now I have to experience the result of separating from my beloved friends. So having understood this point or these connections, therefore now on I will not try to do anything to separate others.
다 디제서 로 다 담바 타제 달라 먹어와 담바 보니 종이 땡바 있다 내년 전자랑라 거기 그 단이 니 비통나帮我 샤시 그들만 쉬어.
Verse 17. Wherever all the holy ones are unhappy with us, it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us for having rejected the holy and relied upon bad friends. Now we should reject bad friends.
다 디게 된다 데 간다 상지 땡바 징게 신게 기부 담바 있는다 다 랑게 짜이라마 로 다 상지 땡바 징조 배선지 때 간다 다 기부 담바 상지 마차바다 지나 망보 요로 다 근데 기부 담바 상지 마차바다 줄라 간다로 간다 디레 다 기바다 니콜라스 바로 근디다 니코 지자 시작 또 소소 바도 소마다 소소 바 보스ung이 다 간다 링와 유숭이 토네 바 니코 간디 제바이나 라마 투마니 바 제부 담바 투마니 다 소소게 네 화선난다고 토네 뭐네 뭐고 메바 든디기 피샤 시바이나 단도 투제고 메바 투제고 메바 와다 든디기 스탄도 넘버 투마지 비 넘버 2 넘버 4도 든디 템바 와 다 든디 용한데 다 든디 용한데 다 레 간디산에 정말 예식으로 다 소소라 든디 용한데 다레 가르산에 든디 중앙선다 첸들로 다 첸들다 첸나마라 다 랑기 주스데 간다 인디레 랑기 주스데로 다 담바도 간다 든디 레사바 인디르세 랑기 라마다 제체 담바도 속에 드슬라 간다 럽자다 람데다 드스 참하게 공시 참하던 게와 땅자 내가 지니 그러와 다 간다 그반을 가 그반을 봐 대반을 봐 드스 참하게 봐 라자 람데 담보르서다 마시스야 건가데 체드스니 제비서다 그러와 뭐 든디기 왜 간다 그반을 봐 지통을 봐 든디기 저왕 봐 대왕이 다 소소를 간다 those two money bada majiba those child jinzinde debut those resigo.
So whenever all the holy ones are unhappy with us, so all the holy beings, so all the numberless holy beings who uphold the Buddha's teachings, such as one's own root guru. So when those holy ones are unhappy with us, so even though with the good intentions, then we offer respect and offer our service with our 3 doors to those holy ones. However, those lamas, they still are not not pleased with us. Are not pleased with us, and even show the ruffle facial expressions to us. So even though we are trying to offer our service and offer our respect with the good intentions to them. So why we experience this result? So the karma or the cause that caused the karma that caused us to experience this is because in these lives and in the past lives that we do not follow the advice of those holy beings such as our Lama. We do not follow their advice. We even against their intentions, we against their advice, and we against their teachings as well. So we do not follow their advice at all. So whatever those holy beings advise us not to do, then we purposely do that. So this is, and we have such bad behavior of not having regard for Lama's advices, and we disrespecting those holy beings, and we do not have faith in those holy beings as well. And because of these negative karma we accumulated, we have been accumulated, then we experience this result. Hello?
We didn't hear you for some time, Ken.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear.
Now can.
I can hear clear. I think
you can hear?
outside. Clear. It's clear.
Okay. So do I need to repeat?
No need.
Okay.
Yeah. That Kandarwa. That Chibu Tambala Kandarwa. Gumba Damadi Bilene Basabamase. That Kanda. They said the Chibu Tambala. Lama Gigi Sulamati Bachi. That team is a strong and bala fish stage. Reservoir. Team of Guggy. Strong and bala things or the Karisina. Strong and bala Laja Nimba. The Surkanda. Wami Wando. Kanda Lene Basaya. Shawangimba. The Sulape. Chebal want to do Kanda. Kanda Chip number 2 money as to reach Tower. Or the Tony Batin. That the Disuza. That Tony and Batimba. Lami Gumba the Mandiba. Shawang and Batanja. Shiba T. Wangi. That a Lenin Senta. That's Suzora. Jebi the Suzora and Kwayimi. That Shinchela. That Tony about the Pangi is a roa. That Shinchela. Tony about Pine when take on that. You Naya roa. That Kanda. Tony Villaja with the Masiba Chicken Isa. This was the commission roa. Sound to stand with the S. Roa.
Yeah. So those we should rely on them. Those on which we should rely, like for example, those holy beings, our teachers, our lamas, then we do not rely. And those that do not worth relying, or do not worth reliance, then we rely on them, such as those negative friends. So having rely on those negative friends, and then they give us bad advice, and we just commit those negative karma according to their advice unconsciously, and we act, then we behave very badly. So this is the main reason that cause those holy ones unhappy with us. So this is the main reason. This is the main reason why those holy ones are unhappy with us. So it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us. Now we should reject bad friends. So from now on, I will not rely on those bad friends at any time. Whenever I will not listen to their advice anymore.
Also, talking about talking about Nima talking about the teacher Shigmis, 2 Miss, teacher Dimada. Yarwa, Nima in the Koran, teacher Shigmis, that Koran Kata Miss, Tendi, Pombaina, that Zeopan Goroa, or the Zeopan of the Kandangazo, Tendi Pombaina, Nago Dumba Shinjoina, Wag Zatu Jigur. The chances in the Dumba engineer, chances that in the so a shimba cheguya, also Nali in a bed, there were CD and other Tinduna Yo, Pina changing Rola Shamba and Dola Shamba Ponso, Dola Shamba Ponsi, Shambatso, 3 points at Jurua. Shanti Dumal Shanti sent away a certain chase, Yura, Shanti sent on Roa. Or that the reasons are that changes in the Dumba Dinga and Mark Dumba Dinga and Jivina, that's a Jurata. Not drawing about Ponso, drawing about Lajan about Deo the Mandua, that Depang is a day, Diliamato, Corona and Jiwatsa in Mujiba, Corona Kamadava, Corona Pe, Saya and Tunatsugi, Tsawon in Jawa Majiba, the Likisha Mara. Oh, this is the Lajan about the Depango. Hajangi, the Lajan about that Jibuchi, what Jane, the Depango is.
So when he says, now we should reject bad friends, or now we have to abandon bad friends, it doesn't mean that we don't want to talk to them, we don't want to associate with them, we don't want to have any connections with them, and I do not want to meet them. So it doesn't refer to this. So, and if we were to abandon bad friends in this way, that we don't want to have any connections with them, then this then our, and if you are holders of tantra vows, then you will create a transgressions in your tantra vows. And if you are a holder of bodhisattva vows, then it will cause the transgressions in your bodhisattva vows as well. So even in the sex sessions, it talks about that if we should not abandon sentient beings. If you abandon sentient beings, then this will cause the root downfall. So same to bodhisattva vows as well. So what does it mean by now we should reject bad friends or abandon bad friends? So what it means is, now we should abandon the bad advice from bad friends, or now we should abandon the bad advice of bad friends. Verse 18. Whenever negativities and so forth due to others, exaggerations and deprecations occur, it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us. For having disparaged holy beings, now we should abandon disparaging others with exaggerations and deprecation.
수수 kuma magoba ina churang kuma kusun sewa wa kuma kusun jaji masheba ina churang jaji la sunse jaji shes ta mi shendage neba chachimbo saba ina ke neba sange churang yes susu kaya ne doku nazo chinwa ta susu tena jin lobena jin losun jala kuma kusu ta de doku nazo ba ta susu denpa ina kanda shingi tendi kanda doku lasaba na sopa tendi chunga de da kanda tendi ndrebute juk kandi sane ndrebute yungba re susu la da de samutana da de karisina da jiwa hinda rangi jibu tamba nana mera tanga doku shaba de da jiwa ngama da jinde ina da ruwa da jibu tamba la kanda kunde da doku shiba diba nanzo sheba ndigi diba nanzo sheba te lengi be tsaja de ta suzo lan ko re ndo osa ta tenda de suzo be jebu miya te ta jebu tamba de sala kanda suzo le kanda de ni kuma ko sa suzo jawa ngama re sende jwa te suzo be tenda pa ngogo ta digi nam ji jebu de simi wa jwa o de suzo ta de re se ko te lengi tsaja lan ko yin se te ta de jen ma ji tsi thama thwa.
So whenever negativities and so forth happens due to others' exaggerations and deprecations, so it means in these lives, so even though we do not do anything bad, for example, and however others just accuse us of doing those negative things, like for example, I myself do not steal anything, however others accuse us of stealing, and I do not tell lie, and others falsely accuse us of telling lies. So even though even though the negative karma is done by others, however, others accuse us of doing that negative karma. So we do not do the negative karma; others just falsely accuse. So with such exaggerations and deprecations, so even though I tell the truth, and others accuse us of telling lies and etc. So why we experience this result? The cause of this is in the past, in these lives and in the past, we criticize or we belittle those holy beings. We belittle those holy beings, and then we deceive others by not telling the truth. So, for example, we accuse others of stealings and etc. of doing those negative karma, even though they did not do. We falsely accuse them, and because of this negative karma, we experience such result.
다들 리슨다 랭이 진짜다 수수는 고아스다 다니 신나 도쿠멘트 제스도와 다 신치 신나 간다로와 삼비고레 때바 다 링와 예수가 간다 때바 쿠마티바이나 다 조클라스 바자원이 미자사 사무디 당고레스 와
Yeah, so it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us. Now we should abandon disparaging others with exaggerations and deprecation. So from now on, even if I cannot offer praise to others, at least I do not disparaging others. Verse 19, whenever our necessary articles go to waste, it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us for having disregarded others' needs. Now we should accomplish the needs of others. And this verse 19 is very true because the things that we have accumulated for a long time, wealth, possessions, our necessities, and resources, then we have accumulated for a long time with great hardships. So we spend many months, many years to accumulate those resources, and then we even sacrifice our sleeping hours in order to accumulate more resources, and we even do not eat properly in order to accumulate more resources. So before we can enjoy those resources, then others, due to haughtiness or due to jealousies and due to greediness and etc., then they robbed us of those possessions that we have accumulated for a long time. So they just take away by force our possessions. So what actually caused these experiences in these lives or in the past, then we steal others' possessions, and we not only ourselves do that, we also cause others to do such negative karma as well, to steal others' possessions, to rob others of their resources as well. Like for example, if you are in the countryside, and then if you are farmers, etc., then others, due to greediness or due to jealousy, then they harm our crops and etc. So when we experience this, it is because that we have done this to others, and it is the sharp weapons of bad actions returning against us.
corona pe dubatla corona pe pintoba show sa corona lonjeji yong show sa so pamelam jeba corona pe kali diji jelo do kali jeba diretni corona pa lonji de corona lonjeji yong show sa so dus pamelam jeba so the chebo esibo.
Yeah, so now we should accomplish the needs of others. So having understood my experience now is due to my past karma. So from now on, then I will accomplish the needs of others. So if we able to help others to accomplish their needs or their necessities, then we offer our helps to them. And if we are not able to offer our help directly to them, then at least we do not get jealousy over others' possessions, and we do not have the mind wanting to compete with others in terms of resources, wealth, and etc. So instead of having these negative thoughts in relation to others' wealth and possessions, and then we should even have this mind, we should even have this mind, this thought that may they enjoy their resources, may they enjoy their resources, and then may they take delight in their resources. Verse 20. Whenever we have a joyless mind and an unclear heart, it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us. For having accumulated negativities in other rebirths, now we should eliminate the conditions for others' negativities.
Susu nanji chitisi sena momba da masawa tindi yorwa china yorwa. Yoride misege se masawa magawa majiwa tindi dorwa rangi giju de ben rangi gejun kande gejun chiye kaswa chulo ya kaswa manindia nganda sa ka toni gwa da chanju se gwa ro da tindi kala lansa tindi sano level kala chiye kala lansa po sambo meba roa sem masa pe ngase rig mi patung de nashi rina rig kari zola mi patung de thong thong marwa de nashi sem masa wa de chalo ta de ma se de pa cho ha chi de khande gyo da roa cha ko ala sa ba de gewa chi du ni de la sa sem ma chi ba sem ma de ba de chalo roa wa da de chi wa de Suzuki Tindi, Yunga, Kanda, Lake Dribu, Lake Kari, Jokarasani, and the Suzuki Dribu race in the Rua. That Dribu did the race ago. Suzuki Tindi, Yunga, and Dribu. That said, the Achua, Numanas Kanda, Shenda Pina, that Kandi Gijuda, Chuduela, that Pachishiba. That Chudubala, Kanda, me, the Richidan, as well, Naji, Puno in the Ritzimuzi, the Chachi Yorua, Chigoya, Jinishana. Nasa kola pe ke jene bonje majiba ko shina kia da pe ke shu chimbo jia de li chi ro wa bu so ta de na shi ro wa ta bu so de na so je mo rang wa de ji wa de shin da de yo mo wa wo de li so da ta de na shi ta ye chu shi ya ge ju jia ji na ya le ga shin da ko ba so ba ji chi ya ko ra ji bu na ya de ko ra ji majiba na tri ko ra ji gi sina ando ina ko ra ji majiba ya ko ra ge shin da shopping chi chi ya shopping na che jegan dasa ya tani pe ngara pe chanju se go toni go je sena ya ngara ni din rojas kanda bi temo ta na so diwa lo ne do ni ta no jes dance jegan rojas ata tani che ka di du do china go so di che kan do na ta to du ma ji ba chi che ba ata tani ji ni change de so so la to se ta ni rawa me ba 지난 때는 가서 용도 용어를 가서 니드 배 지원 엄마가 시부지 공사리 와 시부지 공사리 간다 가서 계정지 제어디 내가 땡땡 레벨 와 맞아 많지야 너무 좀 레벨
이자데 니코자데
네 레벨 와서 드리 레벨 와 니 레벨이 세 마사와 차는 거 와. 상도사 마사와 땡땡 차고 와. 어떤데 맞지 셈바 맞지 바다 맞대와 드리 용어를 간다 전부 들어가지
Yeah, so whenever we have a joyless mind and an unclear heart, so referring to the first line of this verse, in general, as long as we are an ordinary beings, then we have unclear heart, we have unclear mind, and then we have any confusions as well. So, however, it doesn't refer to the general unclear mind or the confusions that we have. So here, somehow we have an extraordinary kinds of unhappiness arise in our mind, and we have a very, our mind becomes very unclear, so becomes very blur or become very confused. So, so when others, when I try to do good deeds, or when I try to do virtues, like for example, reciting mantras, for example, money mantras, or when I'm trying to cultivate bodhicitta or meditate on emptiness, or when I try to study philosophic texts, or when I try to recite prayers, or when I try to do prostrations. So when I try when I try to do good deeds or virtuous actions, then my mind immediately becomes unclear and then becomes unhappy. Somehow it just becomes unhappy, our mind becomes unclear. That is just like a mountain is you cannot see a mountain clearly because of the fog. So that kinds of unclear mind. So what actually caused this? The cause is in these lives or in past lives, then when others are trying to do good deeds or trying to do virtuous activities, such as reciting prayers or such as doing prostrations, then we create obstacles. We create obstacles to them so that they are not able to continue to do it. So is not it happens as well, like for example when we are a kid, so when others are trying to do something trying to focus on doing some things, then we scare them, we scare them, or we purposely shout out loud and etc. So it does happen as well. So however, here it refers specifically when others trying to do good deeds, trying to meditate and etc. Then we create obstacles by ordering them, by giving orders to them to do something else so that they cannot continue their meditations. Or when others are trying to circumambulate the holy objects, then we bring them to shoppings. So when others are trying to cultivate bodhicitta or meditate on emptiness, then we invite them or we ask them to go for a movie or go for dancing and etc. So because of creating such negative conditions for others virtue, then we experience such results. So this is also a very common to us as well. So when we are trying to do good deeds or trying to do virtuous things, then we just feel very sleepy. And this is due to our great habituation to sleepiness as well. So when we feel sleepy, then our mind also becomes unclear, right?
shajan sa demba ro kawa ina shajan dim jigi mare ma na ji yonda ji mambu ji lu ro sanji ji ko da so da tu so kawa ina ya dis to sa la sha bu so 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 na ina ya to sa chewa pi se yu de da den da bu so mambu ji re so so ma kan da ji da ma so lo da bu ndi shi da bu ina da so so sa da de ga ku ja ma sha ne de ga na de ne de yo ro da de ma yi ma so sanji ge so ndi shi sha bu ro 세븐디 샤고 최근 좀 되게 샤고와 뭐 된지 제로 말을 가더라와 나 된지 제로 말해서 내가 간다 그러와 전부터 지워
so when it comes to especially when it comes to holy objects like the like holy image, like Buddha's, like the scriptures, or like the representations of holy mind, stupas and etc. And those holy places such as monastery or dharma centers, then we have to be extra careful. Otherwise, and if we do not respect those holy objects, then there is a great danger that we will create a negative karma of disrespecting those holy objects. So one of the negative karma in relation to those holy objects is we treat them like a thing. We treat them like normal objects, like normal things, and then we just put them on the background. So this is an act of disrespecting those holy objects as well. So this I have mentioned many times already. So those holy objects is the objects of offerings. Then we have to we have to place them on a high place and then offer the respect they deserve. So it happens in the school when we were a kid. So it happened in the school. So sometimes they put a text on the chair, and then they themselves or they make others sit on it and etc. So they play this kind of game. So however, this is not proper actions to do.
다 취시를 받아 줘봐. 다 진 된지 왕에 다 간다. 이소소가 간다 세무 사와도 마지와 마디와도 신고로 다 지다 가서 danse chewando ji da jin se ganda bo jindo bina dendi ji so ji ndo ba ina pe semba pe tung ri jindo ji wa pe lansa chama train de do ji dendi ji wo do wa da dendi ji wa sa da de su de leo de kanda ro pe shao nian ba dendi leo de tung ri ji ya da ngma ge ba cha shu chen bo yo de so wa pe tung ri ji ya da ba cha nian ba de shu chen bo sha je 이 양자 문진에 제바 진리 진제부 제바 진리 진제부 소화데 배 도자에 저왕아마 배 된디기 레년 바되게 제부터 제바 진리 진제부 차고 제바 진리 진제부 소화데 이 양자 문진에 레년이 된지 사야게 배 제인 바 쉬저데 또 쉬비 차고 오다 된디레고 배 칸데 교조시리 남통여시 제다 제모제 문디비 샤왕이 바선 주디 바 통주리 상타시 주도 다 소소고 다 땡할 때 우체왕 말에 중요바 다 시바 진디 진제부들에서 시바 진디 진제부들 때 도자 양자 문티네 코 진제부 등이 용거하게 콜레사하게 진지 차도 다 된지기 모두상 소소 무엇이바지 하코바지니 다 신체로 다 예지 취시와라 디 바치 무제바다 디바 마사와 다 되면게 미 콘트롤 못해봐 심 되어다 마지바 소아니네 마즈와사 다 소소게 신 박 당자라보다 개인라고 뭐 딘지치네 다 신라 페토마드는 뇌무지 서지와 가서 나지 공사적으로 따바성으로 돼 다 페토마드는 뇌 소아니 무지서 소소는 그렇게 땅고 다 간다
So as I said, when we try to do good things, virtuous activities, then we feel very sleepy and our mind becomes become very blur, unclear, and not happy. So this is because of the negative karma that we have done in the past. Like for example, disrespecting those holy objects, body, speech, and mind, and the places that holds them. So, like for example, monastery. And when others are trying to do virtuous deeds, then we create obstacles to them, to their actions. So because of this, then we experience such results. So however, when we come to doing meaningless things, when we come to doing meaningless things, or when we come to doing negative deeds, then for example, meaningless things like dancing, singing, or playing games, and etc., then we immediately becomes very awake. So we become, even though we were very sleepy before, and then when it comes to singing, dancing, then we becomes very awake, and then we even have a very good memory when it comes to singing, that we don't have to memorize lyrics, etc. So we can just sing the songs without looking at the lyrics. So this is because this shows that we have great habituations to those negative deeds or those meaningless things in the past, and we leave a lot of we left a lot of imprints in the past. Therefore, now we are experiencing this, and this is the worst results that we are experiencing. And among the different types of results, and this is the worst because this is the result similar to the actions. Results similar to the actions. Causally concordant, concordant results. And what it means is, when we are experiencing the result, and then we continue to create that negative karma again. So those negative karma that we have done in the past, when we experience the results, and that these particular types of results will become the conditions for us to create negative karma again. So we have to recognize this is not proper, creating obstacles to others or disrespecting those holy objects. So we have to recognize those actions are improper. Then from now on, I will not do it again. So I will abandon all those interferences. Like for example, I will not become the obstacles or conditions for others' negativities. I will not make others angry. I will not make others unhappy. So you kind of promise yourself that I will not do those negative things anymore. So even His Holiness Dalai Lama always say that if you cannot help others, at least you do not harm. So this is something that we should keep it in our mind.
Kanda ngaso desa te tu da roa kudu zola pena tembi kusugi tani par dine tembi ku tembi ku rumu roa tembi ku rumu tani dine te tu da da kanda kudu da so tani tani yudu wa da deso de so so lengi ba sa ru da da ngu kuma ngu sarwa ngu sangu bahu ngu sa bahu deso da kanda tembi kusuyo ba tindi jiya ji tindi ina da so so ni ba sa de ba ku de no so de sho ma jalo ma pe ku te na shi de ma chu do de ma da ma de na khora de ga de ya na bu do da de so pe le ni ba shi sa na sa wa da de so so je ga re shi wa da song ka ka shi pe ma su so ya bu yu chi de tembi ku de so de me mi go da ma sha ni de ji do wa da de so de je na ma so chung de ji 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 na de ya bo chi la mo wa that is a general so chego pe ke chego so geza samatu ma diba masaji so be kandu chidu chego wa that's sama sanji kele ne chadu wa this is the number so that is the woman wa
la di tumbi ku na di kasa pa ku na la di lu ya di
o dan ba ku na lu ya dan ba ku la lu ti ya di chansa o this is the so chego re jerwa so gonjola na bo chi lu ya na da shadi ti si chawu do yeah.
So this is something also related to us as well. So especially with the holy image. So like there's those small cards of a holy image, then we have to be extra careful as well. So sometimes we will put it in our pocket. Sorry, we'll put it in our wallet or put it in our purse and etc. And then especially then if we put it in the pocket behind on our put it behind, like for example our pants, then we put the wallet behind, then we sit on it. So this is also an act of disrespecting those holy objects as well, and this could happen to any of us because I'll say we have the habit of putting those holy image in the wallet, and then sometimes we may sit on it. So we have to be very careful. And some people, so as those businessmen, so in order to have a good business, then they put Buddha's statue, for example, Buddha's image next to the door. So next to the door, like a gatekeeper. So this is also not a good way to place the holy objects. So we as a Buddhist, then we shouldn't do that, because this is not a proper actions, not a proper way to respect those holy images as well. So if we cannot accumulate good deeds or accumulate virtuous activities, at least we do not create a negative one.
But the Jelamazo, Shawama to Sensor to visit Tambila Pachi Shepayu, but Lenets in the Ranako, Tana Pachi Tanjapon, Shahasi Dilmashua.
Verse 21. Whenever unsuccessful in activities, our mind is agitated. It is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us for having obstructed the actions of the holy ones. Now we should abandon all such interferences.
But it under Kundamandabu, Kundishibandabu, Takanda de Shawamadu, since to be Tambila Pachi Shepanis, Tambili Pachi Sheparua. Tangazo Pe China, Arua, Chitan Chitinji Shawa Kandina Kanda, Rajundo Wichina. That Tomope, Gumbanaya, Loja Yapo, Chini Yapo, Chini, the City Yaposon, Shibu, Ichia and Tabachi, the Gumbanana Yaderwa, that Gumbana didn't Loja Yapo Chekis and Yali Yapo Cheki, Loja Yapo Chini mission that Timber Dubisa, in the China, that's also good. Leonzo with the lace of the Chuchimbosanza, that the biggest Samban Najima Yubachini. Erwa, here comes a Gumbana Dematubachi, Martin Rugachi. Martin Lega Shawa Kandijina, Lando Majuachi, Lando Majuat in the Yuachi. That Chimbanda Punda Wachina, the May, Tambo, Lojo Yabochine, that's one letter Yabu Chekisam. The DJ what Lojo Temba Yabu Tembaina, that's when we Shawa and Lega Kandina, Lega China Lando Majin. Some China soon, Yabu Majaba, a Lega Shinda Kandiji Levaina, that Lando Majua, the Richawdi, the dear Chaga, Yanja, Simba Machiba, Madeva. Same too. What that indeed, Chidanazu, you see what you are. 이 주소나 주당 가서 통화 열어 세마 집어다 만두바 마데바 이제 요요로 다 뜻을 정하다 간다 드리브디에 간다 지원가마로 다른 제랑가마는 다 담비기 제번 제시들어와 다 진짜 담바는 제지여와 제번 전에도서라 다 간다 과치셔봐 제번 담바게 제시라 과치셔봐 마세 다 침바이노 담비 취셔봐도 소라베 소소베 차동원 과치진에 가야로 들어 과치서 레세다 차도 리용의 제일 먼저 과치가야 또야 신기 신바야 뭐 당고도나 야수소 차도원기 이 신바다야들 과치지야 와 다 로종 간다 게두 간디 체나들 과치시바 다 다지 고도 시바다 라본라고 들어와 담비레라 과치시바 이제 제나들 리고도와 오 딘디 소자 다 딘디 원게 다 간다 소소 라로 마주야다 또 신바레 예스고 레진 데비티
Yeah, so so it's very similar to the previous verse. So whenever whatever we try to do, so whether it's a dharma activities or whether it's a conventional or worldly activities, then we do not success in those activities. Like for example, at the beginning, then we have good intentions that I want to become ordained so that I can study properly, then I can practice well, then I can keep keep those morality, and then keep those vows, and then after that, then I want to benefit others. So we have these intentions when we become ordained. However, due to the negative karma that we accumulated in the past, and they are heavy ones, and then we are not able to stay in monastery and then to do what we wanted to do, and then at the end we left the monasteries, and then we do the lay person's work, and however we do not succeed in the layman works as well. And even as students graduate, for example, after we graduate from our schools, and then we come to the societies, then we want we want to do a good job, and then we want to do a good business. So when we engage in those activities, then those activities do not turn out as we wanted. So on top of that, then we become unhappy. Then our mind is very much disturbed by those unsuccessful activities in our lives. So this is something we can see this in our lives. It happens to our own, or happen to ourselves, or happen to others. So it's something that we can see in this present life. So why we experience this result, and the cause for all of this is in these lives or in future lives, and when others are trying to do good activities, virtuous activities, or those virtuous activities, then we create obstacles, and even we get jealous of others. For example, as a lay person, then we get jealous of others. Then we even have the mind wanting to compete with them. Then when they are trying to, whatever they are trying to do, then we create obstacles, or we stop them from doing those activities. So basically, when others are trying to do virtue, we create obstacles. Like for example, others are trying to donate or practice giving, then we stop them from doing so, create obstacles, and then stop them from doing so. So from now, we should abandon all such interferences. So just like the verse before, that we should eliminate the conditions for others' negativities.
다 인지 간다로와 디본 게루치야 디바ပွ아 게와도와 로와 뜻세베 게일레 간디키나 게일레 단지딘지 샤와 잠보시 간디지 두고나 다 디솔라페 차도다 레세다 나자 메비톤 때파 제시랑치야 딱깔이 제시랑세와 나서페 소소 깔리 슈침보 제모가 베 세남 초랍 침보사 슈부지스는 나도데 라모 마무지 소야 나서 슈 마무니 여르와 소소 깔리 시다면조 제시랑치야 미신다게 베 제시라지나서 제시라지나 베 피어서 다 슈지 여르와 벨랍 침보 슈지 여르 와 덴디 소사 데 디본 게두 간리 체바나 와 대solpa 다 차동 레세 메바 지세랑치야 단 지티비 샤와 상보지 간리기 두고드나 참말라 야 차동 레세 메바 지세랑치야 오다 든지 지리사 그 신지를 다 소소 지제고 와 어디 리지 제도 동상 앞에 상 신바 제고 와
So it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us. Now we should abandon all such interferences. So having understood the experience that I'm undergoing right now is due to the negative karma I've done in the past. So therefore, from now on, whenever I see others doing activities to eliminate their negativities and doing the activities to accumulate good deeds or accumulate virtue. So whatever dharma activities or whatever virtuous activities and even the worldly good deeds. So whenever I see others are doing that, I do not get jealous of them. I do not have the mind wanting to compete with them, and I do not feel proud of myself as well. So instead of having these negative thoughts in my mind, I practice rejoice. So I rejoice in their good deeds. I rejoice in their virtuous activities. So he says in the text that by rejoicing in others' good deeds, it brings forth great benefits. So one of the great benefits is we will accumulate extensive merits and with little hardships. So this is one of the benefits of rejoicing in others' good deeds. So this is how we should fix our mind or to train our mind.
Kandar sheje lama mani che to dambi chela ngogo sheba yi lengen che jara lang kwai dani chela ngogo chunga shaase da kondo ndabu ji yor tinda bo jingo sarwa da tanda de liya junsen de dis manda andwa nje mo shei.
So verse 22, wherever our Lama is not pleased, no matter what we do, he is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us for having acted hypocritically toward the holy Dharma. Now we should work to reduce our hypocrisy regarding the Dharma. So this is quite similar to the verse before. So however, the reasons here is a little bit different.
Kanda tu nyembo mayo, soso pe hasa nanda kutane shashi shiba ina kandu tu jeba da tu nyembo mayo. Ta de ju karisani ta njeburi ismerwa, ta de ta nanji yondara ngasi, ta de chutsona chida yungudwa. Ta chiwa ngama nasa kanda soso ke sendi ki lama ina anda, soso ke chedo ina anda, ta jeba tambi kandi ina anda, that the so kanza the sugi lajata lamti the solape tani lami just ba nashini ta do you ro jobo chedo re gegi re kandi kona the sumba nashini ta ron chiyu sape lami gi ndula lega chida jada lega chi ni chawo da de chine de debit ro ndingi lega chi lega zo naji jandi ni ga de chido chabore ese ngazo kawai kadina lamala soso roa kadina ndinti amato ya ndina ji sho jala lega ji loga ji le da de jina de ngoko shewa ngoko la chang roa ngaso na ji tsuti so la shong che bu de so go de tsuti ngoko me ba song shang se roa tsuti so da chang ju si dong bi tsuti sang dong bi tsuti da so da ji tsuti mo bo yo roa o tsuti de so de soso ki gege thonsa da mi thonsa la ni tsuti ya bo so yo no de che nina ju che denge pinesla da tsuti dan ke wa mambo chi chawa ina da den ji yo ma ro da ngoko cha ngoko da de da da mi chi la ngoko she wa de da ro ngoko se wa da de ngoko me ba ji kan da song go tsuti se wa da soso ki lama la de ba yi chi de ba yo ba ina yi chi de ba ni ngoko me ba shi ngoko me ba to ni de ji go re o tendiji guera de tanda kundo ta soso lande be kanda shi lama mani be chesa da ta ngoko shi bi junse re ese urwa ngoko shi bi junse chi that Karipe, so the League Nanju Yapani, Lamika, Karasumana, Sama Dues, sitting Kari, the but sitting Chinamanga, Yapasuesna, that is she Java Salape, she will Indoche, to turn every Nesala, that sitting between Chanja Shonike, Lami Gumbatangawa Chanja Donike, with the dealer one. And the deal on the Lama Tumani by you as a candy, Candicheva. Direction,
so when our lamas is not pleased with, no matter what we do, like for example, as mentioned before, when we offer our service and offer our respect to those holy beings, to those lamas, or to those spiritual friends with our body, speech, and mind, so no matter how much respect and service I offer, they still remain not happy with us. Then what caused this result? And the cause is so this happens in the societies as well. So we in the past or in these lives or in the past, then to those holy beings or to others or to those Dharma friends or to our lamas, then in front of them we act. We behave well. So in front of them, we behave well, and we even claim, we even say this out loud that, whatever the guru's advice, whatever the guru's teachings, I follow properly, I follow exactly. So, and then I do not contradict their advice at all. So in front of them, Dharma friends or lamas and etc., then we say this. However, at the back, then we do all sorts of things that contradicts the advice of gurus. We contradicts the teachings given by the gurus. So for having acted hypocritically toward the holy dharma, so this is the cause of the experience we're undergoing. Whenever the lamas is not pleased, no matter what we do, then this is the cause for having acted hypocritically toward the holy dharma. So hypocritically is what I mentioned just now. So in front of others, then we say one thing, at the back, then we do other things. So this is what hypocritically toward the holy dharma means. And so that even in the text, it says that, so in relation, those vows like bodhisattva vows or tantric vows or individual liberation vows, so in front of others, in front of my teachers, then you pretend keeping those vows properly. So however, at the back, we do not keep those vows at all, and we do things that contradict or break those vows. So this is not proper, and this is what hypocritically toward Dharma or hypocrisy regarding the Dharma means. So therefore, having recognized that it is improper to have hypocrisy regarding the Dharma, therefore we should abandon it.
That is the Shinji Kanda Roa Dambi Chura in the Rangi Lama. This is the Citizen Kandina, Tango Mepa. When is Shida Nanika Tsumbaji, the chicken, Santa Son of the good reservoir. Shinanika Tsumbaji. Dina Kandiji, Lami de la Pe, some Kandiji, Kandid Zebuchiguna, Jala de Haran Yogachi. Roa. Lami Dina Dena Tegachi. Lami Pa, Kambale Pashlopa Tambaina, Tara, Sonachi. Roa, Laja Tegaron Sonachi. Or that the good reservoir.
So now we should work to reduce our hypocrisy regarding the Dharma. So Dharma or to our spiritual gurus. So for example, keeping our vows. So I will not act hypocritically in front of them. So what it means is in front of them, at the back of them, or my inside or my outside are concordant. So what it means is I do not say one thing and do other things. So whatever I say, and then I do as well. Verse 23. Whenever it happens that we are contradicted by everyone, it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us. for having scorn, shame, and embarrassment, now we should shun that which is improper.
다디 된다들에 간다 다디 내가 수수급이나 제방 년바다 내가 논주 제방 년바 샤왕 년바 간지 맞이봐 수이나와 단대 가서 배 논주다 된데 각게 맞이봐 제방 년바 맞이봐 맞이봐이나 다 신집에 칼로신의 수수급 파 폐도에서 파 폐다서 dindiina tsu dhiri longja si chi yuwa, dhiri longja chi tsu longja shiwa da. Da susu pa dewa se nongchuk kaki manjala tsi manye pa, tsi tsubo lawa. Da susu la tsu lega maji bata che siwa da, ruwa che bata che masun siwa da. Ruwa lega zhangbu che na che masun siwa, ruwa che masun, zhangbu che wa yin che masun. Di lega 간다 수수가 내가 년바치 맞이 몇 신다 년바치스나 내가 더 처럼 제거했어요. 다 들이 칼로 난소 용어지. 로와. 다 칼로 난소 용어지. 된된이랑 로와. 다 세다 지와진데 들어간 람이기 제 진짜 담바다 되서 좀 나버린데 빈체 추로도서라 뭐서 찌그서 뭐서 뭐지바 인생거서 문제바 지통 샤고서 라마라 지통 마샤바 로와. 다 ngotsan zen me shime chiyo meba ota ngotsa cheme chine di susu la pene pinzu negab jipe deji chuna de mi shela sango je ma dang be mi shenda la neba kari na yo be duja kari chuna chu susu negab jipe cheme deji chuma ina da shenda kari chuna chung sa ngotsa meba cheyo basi dirwa shawa ngeba jeba ngeba oda tandi wange di susu la kanda da di chuma rese go ngotsa cheme chele what's a Jimmy Chili said, that Medile, number Monday by then deputy human years ago.
So, whenever it happens that we are contradicted by everyone, so everyone turns against us. So, even though we do not do anything bad, even though we do not do anything wrong, then they just even the beings that we offer help to them before, so they return help. They return kindness with ingratitude. Like for example, speaking harsh words to us, and even though we are trying to do things. I did something. However, they accuse us of not doing it, and even others. The negative karma is done by others, then they accuse us of doing that negative karma by our. I'm the one who create that negative karma. So they return kindness with ingratitude. So they, when this happens, when I am against by everyone, then this is because for having scorn, shame, and embarrassment. So I do not have a regard for my lamas. I do not have regard for my Dharma friends and family members as well. So whenever I have a small happiness happens to me, whenever good things or happy things happen to me, then I do not have any regard to others. So and when something good happened to me, then when others are in pain or in suffering, then we say that this is not my business. So we do not have any regard for others' necessities or other needs.
냉연 전자된 대부의 소소한 거의 다수는 신바치네와 다신지 최다면 되게 제부 담만하지 매바신게 로 뭐로와 강이나 시민도 문주바 당와서 최유지 분에 간다 인정보셔 냠비 되게 상당 그래서 그러와 당와서 재미기 샤와데 뒤나야 미제상 디쿠고 뭐로와
나 공다
와서 재미기 샤와 님바데 뒤나야 소소다 미지우사 이들은 제우사 와
Yeah, so having understood scorning, shame, and having scorn, shame, and embarrassment is the cause for what I'm experiencing right now. That everyone is against me, so therefore I will not do any actions that will bring shame and embarrassment to myself.
That is the corner dimatadan divice. That dushing shows somebody lenens in the Ranakoi, Dana Kana, he never shas.
Verse 24. Whenever there is hostility, as soon as our servants gather together, it is the sharp weapons of bad actions standing against us. for having applied our miserably bad dispositions everywhere, now we should be good nature to everyone.
다 디기 된다들이 간다. 다 뱀보이나다, 기기이나다, 여러 제보이나다, 다 간다 소박하게 뱀보이나다, 다 간디지나 문상지이나다, 다 소소라 내가 지니 코 예투 간디지나 다 대소 담보 제야보 여바 지와 ስለ니 때 간다 지르모 마차바 때 코서 서 소소 파야보 간디치바이나 때 코서 간다 니마도바 소소라 베 셰발온데 소소 근내주 마테마이나 소소 내주 티비 베데 습베 소소라 만티바 자만디바 장장 근디치 또 그러나서 파 소소는 대화메바 든디 셰발온데 파 론데 마디바 든디 지다 유시고라 파야보 제바이나 다 든디게 베 습베 파야보 난디야 보시나 측저방 연바티네 측저방 연바티네 든디 용네 여러 데서 that is what the Joa Namatla Suzu Judan Yamba. Migi, Ranchi, Judas, Judah, Miranchi Zams, Judas. Nanji, so Migi Shika, Migi Judah, that is the Lechiborwa, Migi Zams, as I said. That Joa Naman as a Ranchi Yamba, Jovan Yamba Chidia, because Sudan known to Novena, Dilla, during its Tanja, Sudan known to Novena. Then Rossi Kangala pe Java Yamba, the Shika Yamba, the Litia, the Shaw Yamba Nanju, the Litia only, this also la Ganda, so say Delape, John Jibo Moimba, Sakandi Ketan Madeva, Tobo Inanda, Tomoinanda, Korinanda, Kandina, the Jirimo Madeva, so that Madi can gender. That the Lee United, this also Ganda Java Mamma to Chiva Resa that. Mister Nyang the Jabanga, Mazinaji, Toba had a number Punji Mana doing this education. Toba had a number Punji the Miller Tunguris. So Toba had a number Toba Tombojavina. So the Java Punji the Mida Timbajuris, Mida Tunguris, or Mida Tunguris. So me, so me the Java the Mina Tunguris. What? That's also a Toba Tombojavina the Tungu. Java Mida Tunguris. But that the Shika Yabu Majiba, Ranchi Yabu Majiba, Munam Rundi to Sola, Java Yabu Majiba, Nimbasa, dig it and that is David Javanima, or Conan Dimata, the David said, and that is do she be sure somebody's dear one? You sit in so then David me, but what?
And so wherever there is hostility, as soon as our servants or companions gathered together, then like the persons that we helped before, or masters or teachers, or even family members, or even colleagues, and etc. So at first we have good connections with them, we have a good relationship with them. However, these good relationship do not last long, and then start to have unhappiness towards each other, start to argue, then the good relationship turn bad, then they cannot stay together anymore, then they start to separate and go somewhere else. So we do not stay together with those companions for a long time. So even though we do not show a bad facial expressions to them, and then somehow the persons just misunderstood it and then show us back bad facial expressions, then start to argue, and then they separated, the relationship turned bad. And even we do good things to them, we try to do something good for them, and then they do not understand it, and then they do bad things to us instead. So what caused this experience? And the cause is our bad character, our bad characteristics, or our bad behavior. So whoever we go out with friends or with family members or with masters, etc. So whoever we stay with, then we show our negative, we show our bad behavior, we show our bad characters, and then we show bad facial expressions to others. And because of this negative karma, then we experience this result. And in the text, it says, even though your realizations is is same as those deities, those of deities. However, you should act in accordance with normal beings. Yeah, so this verse is it happens for example, happens in India, happens in Nepal, happens when we go for pilgrimage in those countries. So like when we go in a group, so some people they want to, like for example, go one directions, and another group of people they want to go to another directions, and because of having having a different wanting to go to different places, then they start to fight with each other, and then create such disharmonious environment. So even in the 8 verses of my trainings, it's also mentioned that wherever we go, and then we should take the low positions. So we should regard ourselves as lower than others. So this is one verse in the 8 verses of my training. So what does it mean by regard oneself lower than the others? Is we put more emphasis on others. So regard others as more important. And then if we have regard for others more than oneself, then the relationship will remain good, and then oneself will accumulate great merits, and then others will like us, and then others will have regard for us as well. So wherever we go, then we should show our good behavior. We should show our good nature. So just like the last line of verse 24 says, now we should be good nature to everyone. So we should show good behavior, and then we should show our good natures to everyone, so that we will create a good relationship. We will have a good relationship, and then create a harmonious environment. So I will not show my bad nature or bad character to anyone at all. Verse 25. Wherever all those who are close to us rise up as our enemies, it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us for having entertained bad thoughts about them. Now we should work to diminish our deceitfulness and guile.
Siton Yobata, Sewa Yoba Chunimeba, but Dana Hitini Tani Kirwa. Dindita Bade, that's also we lake and Rich Savasina. That's also we laying about this hour. Dumbai Yabo Sebotni Mira, me Rangi Sindajina, Pama Pinji, Mishinda Sindajina, Dumban Zebote, Lila Kishache, Semba Senapos Naji, Yondela, Nidina, mid the Senapores, the lawyer, Chita Senapos, the song that Naboris, Semba Se Coronazo, Dodo Hadi, Nabokishi Shiwa Mara, or the song mitigate Semba Nabores. Semba Napos, the Mishela, Shaw Marumba, Lega Dusa Tangani, be Yuang Tashi, not so did it. That mission that Kag Devo, Jambushi, Ligin Nanju Abote, Kagan Zebushe. Then Sound Mite Dujaji, Yuang Tashi Tanga, and Gogotan. What the Ningogotan had Mujuja, Mujus Dilwa, or Ming Gogotan, Yojichin and Gogotan. The new one, this also needs to get down in Jebute, you are a then this was that Shinchela, Kanda, that indeed Milan Gogotan, the Yojichiada, Sawani, Jigimi Susu, Shisan Nasa, Shida, Shina Nikapa, the Stambuchin, the Shinapa, Kandarwa, Pay Thomas, near Sawani, Jesus. Or that indeed, that Dick and the Semba Naboda that, Kicha she the Kanyan she, Ligin Nadia, Sen on a court, do just have a Tashi non so did. We did it.
I do did not so them or
Tashi do just non so did. So the conduct in the Minabos.
Mishinda Nabusa.
One machine in Nabos. That pay so pay, son on all pay Tashi non so in Nabosotia.
Yeah, so wherever all those who are close to us rise up as our enemies, so our friends, our parents, and our close ones, relatives, and etc. So they do not have any. They do not look us on the good side, and then they do not have any affections to us, and they see us as an enemy, and then they see us as a bad person. So why we experience this result is because we have created such negative karma in this life or in the past that we show good facial expressions to others. So we speak pleasantly to others. Even our body show has a bow with respect and etc. So, however, our mind is as a simnapo is like a black heart. So we have a black heart towards others. So what it means is we always have a negative thoughts in relation to others. Like we try to do all sorts of things to make others do bad things as well, to have a black heart as well, to have negative thoughts, and we always deceive them to do something bad that will bring forth the undesirable results. So this is what a black heart refers to. So from now on, I will not deceive them, and then I will not lie to them. I will not deceive them, and then I will try to be transparent. So transparent in terms of my external appearance and my inner thoughts are in concordant. So as mentioned just now, if we cannot benefit others, if we cannot help others, at least we do not harm them. Verse 26. Wherever we are sick with consumption and edema, it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us for having unconscientiously misused donations against the rules. Now we should abandon misappropriating property and the like.
That's also Nasa, then Rami Nansu, and the Ripe Ninja Nawati, the new one. 다 나산 러비나서 영화데 되게 주드 가르스나 다 주가서 나서도 영화게 주 돈으로 사사다 간다 주 돈으로 사바다디 두 가르 사바스나 다 소소라 간다 보바 예바 소소라 예바 메바 따로와 지와가 만나서 다 겐디지 꼬라 간다 밤에도 lon제바 겐디지 꼬라서 와서 소소라 예바 나와서 메바 이나 다 lon제 주고 말이 그래서 또 겐디지 원디가 뜻을 때 사바는 디바 차침도 차고
기름기 꼬거나 기름기 꼬라
겐디지 꼬라 겐디지 lon제라 겐디지 lon제에서 간다 그래서 lon제는 소소게 예바 메바 겐디기 나와때 받아 겐디기 나와도 소이나 다 뜻을 잡고요 봐 다 든디메 바소소가 한바치니 그 겐디기 고 간다 lon제라 배 소소 lon제 배 사초초 퉁샤샤 지니 든디 제와에서 든디 제사리 다 뜻을 제비데 소소나 미고 다 간다 간나 산터미나서 이야 어디 지당 가서 겐디라 피하데 겐디라 왕사데 겐디스는 군초소에 제 차사 봐 겐디 군초기야 제데 그 소소라 배 나오마 더바이나 lon제 조금만 순다진에 나오마도 lunchine 그 디바차치 못 사고요. 근데 소자 그 소라 근데기 lunchine 님이 원게 그 소소라 간다 나선 담이나서도 레바 레시고 레니 비천자데.
Yeah, so when we are sick with consumptions and edema, so consumptions can be, it also means like ulcers or tumors and other kinds of all sorts of sicknesses. So when we are sick with, when we are experiencing all sorts of sicknesses, this is because for having unconsciously misused the donations against the rules. So the cause of experiencing sicknesses in these lives is because we have eaten the poison. So by poison, it means we have misappropriated the property of Sangha. We have misappropriated the property or the possessions of Sangha without permissions. So if we get the permissions from the one who is responsible for it, then we are allowed to use the properties or to use the possessions. However, without the permissions from the person in charge, and if we are just being so haughty, and then we do not we do not care about those rules, and then we just enjoy the properties or the possessions of Sangha members. For example, we just eat their foods and then we just drink the water without asking for permissions, then we will create a negative, heavy negative karma, because the things offered to Sanghas, and then it becomes the offerings to the jewels. It becomes the offerings to the jewels. And if we do not get the permissions to use those things, and if we were to use it, then it will create a heavy negative karma.
데 와서 겐디 비기 꼴토나 다 네바 차시 베 시비 참으로 네 차고 다 겐디 비고 베 외바다 오바 메바다 간다 겐디네마 자바네마 대 산적 lunch나 네바디 이거래 이 침박에 두서 나오메바 lunch나 네바디 이거래 다 침비기 가서 집이기 다 겐디 비고 많이 봐 양가서 수수 집하게 초바 구루구루 여러와 하여튼 찌찌도 소소로 내가 들어 왜 받아 보바 매바 수속에 한바 돈에 찌찌 농제바이나 어따들어 내가 쳐고 싶으래 그때 내가 쳐보래
찌찌나
찌찌다 자크기 찌찌라고 자크를 농제이나 소속에 내가 그 보바 여봐 소속에 내 많이 봐 그 소속에 다 꼬마꼬마 나지 잡고 여러와 근데 농제는 사바이나 어따 농제바이나 자크기 찌찌세와도 때 내가 쳐고 싶으래 그래서나 단다 자크기 찌찌세와도 자카드는 미 써야 가지는 네 참말 완차야 참말 완디야 다 소소 미치고 따보게 들이 자크기 찌찌의 소소는 왜 보바 왜 바지 지 사바이나 자 보바고 또 바이나 그때 미사 가지는 참하게 되라 간다 완디야 근데 그 미사 뭐뭐기 때 저는 오제로 소소라 보바 왜 바면 봐 what the Ganashi, the Gendis or Lunjola Gendi Raju, de la Pelucia, that is what the telling never such in war. What that is some of the Mazo never such in Masawa, Kotoba. Jibari.
Yeah, so there are also public properties as well, like for example, the public properties in the countries. And if we do not get permissions and if we are not allowed to use those public properties and then we just use it anyways, then this also creates a heavy negative karma as well. Like for example, if we are not allowed to eat food out of this if we are not allowed to eat this food, and this food actually belongs to the public, and if we do not get permissions, and then if we were to eat it, then we create a heavy negative karma in relation to those owners of that properties. Like if it belongs to a country, if it is a public properties belongs to a country, so how many millions people citizens in this country, then you create such heavy negative karma in relation to them. So if you are not allowed to use them, and if you are not the right person to use them, and if we use it anyways, like for example eating the food or take the drinks without permissions, then we create a heavy negative karma. So same goes to if we were to take offerings made to sangha members, and then without permissions, and if we enjoy it, then we create a heavy negative karma, heavier than a previous example, the public properties.
But there is a Tashinche Kandada, Taji Kunda Shiva Nashi, that Gindish in the Yuko Chobata, Lenia, but it's some of the Papa Shadow, that Chizi, Chobaka, Chizi in a Kandina, Samapa, Takanda, Pama Chadu, Miss Suzupe, Totanda, Rebata, Obatindi, and Nebajila, that's also the Lungi and Chawing, but some of Nisa, that is some of the Tango, yes.
So from now on, we should abandon misappropriating property and the like. So as mentioned just now, the public properties or the offerings or possessions made to offered to Sangha members. So if we are not the right person, if we do not have the authority to use it, and if we are not the right person or right persons or without permissions to use it, and then we do not do that.
That is the Lobin Guni, Lila Tibet, Tanzin Yambi, Shawashi by Linux, then in Gilina Pong Shasi, that didn't much you.
Verse 27. Whenever our body is suddenly struck by a contagious disease, it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us. For having performed deeds that degenerate our pledges, now we should abandon non-virtuous actions.
That did Susu been a shooting Shawala Shawa Zamboshi. Kadin go Subainata, Lobo the Con, Ninasa, Toja Goja Pe, Gunit Lilebarwa, Susan and Gunit is the Yumbate. That Kanda de Karisna, that sent it at Chiwangamanas Kanda, Susu Dombata City Civil Mason, dancing Yambi. The dancing Yambi, they can't lay with Sanjay Susan or yes. It is that then McGee Jeda Habata Penalama da Hasun, dancing Yanja to Sopa, Poncha, Yesa, that they don't go, Tanjuda, it's some of my digitally shits of a chiva. Tanjuda Kandadere, then McGee later the Habata Lamada, Soso Tanzi, to sort of pay Thawani in Yamba, Mejawa, that dancing numbers of the pay to a so shadow chin, Shinship dancing, number Thawani is the Majasan, and you would race away.
Yeah, so when we are trying to do Dharma activities, for example, and then suddenly we felt sick, and then we get, we are sick with contagious diseases and etc. So why we are experiencing this is because in these lives or in the past, we do not keep our vows, we do not keep our commitments, and we let our commitments degenerate. So because of these, then we experience such results. So from now on, then I will not create those non-virtuous activities, and I will not let my commitments degenerate, and I will keep my vows properly. And those vows that have already degenerated, then I will do confessions. I will do confession practice, and then promise to refrain from doing it again.
That age, she's a queen of Lodi, 몸에서 샤도 해봐 출라 시바 랭에 지야랑 거의 다니 태소 시로 공부 샤세 다들만 쉬죠.
Verse 28. Wherever we are intellectually confused about all that is to be known, it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us. For having considered that which is worthy to be set aside to be the Dharma, now we should cultivate the wisdom of hearing and the rest.
다디게 된다들이 지난 가서 배 샤워 냄비쇼스 주변에 냄비 제가 때 제시 넣어다 리번 넣어 카정보 삼보든지 너무 이거 와 대가 대이 치차와이 내가만 근데 샤워 냄비 쇼라ben 아샤 슈침보 쉬우지 좋아 아샤 슈침보 공부 쉬우시다 근데 이거 다 취라 대상 공부지 제비 깔라 다 란도 그 취도서 배 대상 공부 냐니 제오리 다때 란도 그 니에서 취는 거 누구 심어도 봐 마시바 좋아 배 손을 침으지 상을 대먹고 뭐는 지라 또 보면 지세와 나시 좋아 어디 든지 차고 란도 니 취는 마시바
Samna miko ini thamadi toba
뭐나 또 보지라 마지바 수모이나 시수 말이스 상을 담아이나 되고 말이스 딱 공제바이나 또 번지라 지야요 말이스 어디 든지 집에 뭐도 들어와 세리가 지원을 만나서 간다 취시발라 취미지 샤와나 와치시도 마지로와 단 레긴 받을 거다 생각만 미스 런도 진이에서 앞에 냐니 치기 지어서 저 제마지고 와치시바 로와 와치시도 든지 단 레긴 빈 생각에 따서는 고아리에세 다들이 간다 된다 도도로
thamadi ini di chima ina
세시마
langdugine
생각말이다 지원을
konda
지원을 나서 취라 미취 태상고도 넘버 다바 진이스라 간다 빠지시 와 그래서 진이나 빠지시가 소리 간다 진이 시원한 소시가 맞지 와 빠지시가 맞지 소소이나 앞에 취 많이 비 샤워라 정정 휴침부 베디소 앞에 잠바 휴침부지 취쇼게 샤워라 공부 냐네스라 대바 맞지 대바자 좀 상로 땅 맞지 공부바 맞지 어다 든지 맞지 그 샤워 냠바 좀 샤워 냠바 쇼라 만치와 디치드라 장자 땅비 진세지 그래서 불러데 만도 니에스라 모니 그 공부바 냐네 제고 세나 제나 그래서 시우요 말 가질라나 시투요 말 막게기 마무질라바이나 시마도 어디 손에 침이 상나 데모 고나 줄라 마지세 데디 cham을 레세고 간다들이 랭이 전자도 지원이마 도스치
So wherever we are intellectually confused about all that is to be known, what it means is when we are trying to do negative things, then we have good memories, we remember every detail, and then our mind is very sharp. And then this is also one of the signs that we have left many negative imprints in our mind related to those negative karma. And when it comes to doing virtuous activities, like for example, listen, contemplate, and meditate on object of abandonment and object of adoptions, then we can't even identify what is object of, we can't even differentiate, we can't even identify what is object of abandonment and adoptions. So even the teachers, teaches us teaches us many times, and then we still don't understand the meaning. So then there is a saying that when you're trying to memorize it, you couldn't, and when you're trying to understand them, when you're trying to think about it, you don't understand the meaning, and when you're trying to meditate it, and then you do not develop any realizations in your mind. So we are being obscured or being we are being confused or being obscured in this way with those object of knowledge, such as the object of abandonment and object of adoptions. So why we experience this is because the cause that we have done in the past. So in this life or in past lives, that we have created obstacles to others when they are trying to do virtuous activities such as listening, contemplation, and meditations. So when they are trying to do it well, then we create obstacles to them. So, and on top of that, we ourselves do not practice listening, contemplations, and meditations. And we habituate ourselves with the non-dharma activities only. So because of this, we experience this result.
고야보지 제발아 상호 자체보 야보지 고래해서 상호 자체보 야보 당하지 데메발아 곰피타보다 자체보 차고 말해서 다고 상호 자체보다 피타보 지임발아 개바 자체보 피타보 야보지 고래해서 데메바이나 아 상호 자체보 요야 그러고 말해서 근데 순자 다 대바 뭐지 내 대바 뭐지네 내 상호 상바 자체보 내 상바 자체보다 고 자체보 이유래 다 신체와 대상고도 야보지 지금 다 내가 미세 코로나 에 몸바 미시바 디노는 즈미 다 계속 고르시네 미바의 세기 이상서 상황이 있다고 그랬을 그래와
Yeah, so when we are trying to memorize the words, then we can't, and when we contemplate on it, then we do not understand the meanings. And when we are trying to meditate, then we do not develop any realizations in our minds. So this is the sign that we have not habituated ourselves with listening, contemplations, and meditations in our past lives. So in order to have in order to have good meditations, then we have to depend on good contemplations or extensive contemplations. So if we do not have extensive contemplations, then there is no way that we can have a good meditations. So in order to have a good contemplations, then it relies on a good listening. So otherwise, then there is no way that we can have a good contemplations, or we have nothing to contemplate about. So we have to tell ourselves that I should not, I should not be obscured, or I should not stay confused with this object of knowledge anymore. And then I have to, clear my mind. I have to clear my mind. I have to, purify my mind, or I have to clear my mind with listening, contemplation, and meditation.
그래서 출을 지지 니지니 비즈마 쉬제 담비치라 디파사바이 랭에스 다니 신지 가와치 바샤세 다딜마 모두 쉬제고
Verse 29. Whenever we are afflicted by sleep when practicing the Dharma, it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us for having accumulated obscurations with respect to the holy Dharma. Now we should undergo hardships for the sake of the Dharma.
다 간다 군도 딘다본다고 인도서로와 다 간다 소소 칸데 게조 딘디치베세 다니 니 나비세와 니 쇼와다 세마사와 딘디 제타 간다 지와가마나서 그 담비치라 디바사바레스 디바사 원데 레니 바사바레스 다 추군제는 가서 추보다라서 받는데 다 가능 고야라서 받아 이거 그래서 사템바라 샤바다 디 디술라티네 간다 레니 바데 그래서 선자 수도 레바레스 그래서 다 신체를 간다 추게 제도 소소 가와치리와 가와치네 에 수기도 배 간다 랑도지니에서 배 수기도 두는 인사들이 성당고에서와 소소 배 담비치리 디바마사야 사심바텔라 소소게 인제바 잡이더니 샤도야 보시 제선서 와 어떤 신체 우리 자원이 무사 소소게 상황 그네 되는지 간다 라타치도 버치는데 야무시라리스
So this is very similar to the previous verses that we have already covered. So whenever we recite the prayers, and whenever we do the virtuous activities, and then we feel very sleepy, and then our mind becomes unclear, and it is because we have accumulated negativities in relation to Dharma. Like for example, we do not respect Dharma, or we do not respect scriptures, and then we cross over it. We cross over the scriptures, or we put the the scriptures on the bare floor. So this is the example of not respecting scriptures or dharma. So from now on, I will endure hardships in relation to dharma. So what it means is I will practice I will practice abandonment and adoptions properly. So we kind of think to ourselves, or we promise ourselves that I will try to accomplish according to the object of abandonment and the object of adoptions. And from now on, I will not create any negative karma in relation to dharma, and those negative karma that in relation to dharma that I have already created, and then I do confessions to purify it, and then vow and promise not to do it again.
Thank you. Let's stop here.
Yeah.
That was what you did. What do you do? Go that did what the chance just not which is what.
Yeah, so so we don't have time for question and answers. Then if you have any, then please ask in coming class.
That on the gaze on the Latin, chitin but you wouldn't do what you are. That cheaper than Zani de la Conda, near the Panya de Toyota, come on to the Mihilas of Mayo, and the chip gets in my sometimes.
So we conclude with dedication. We dedicate the roots of virtue accumulated especially to these Dharma teaching sessions. So we dedicated this merit we dedicate this merit. May the Buddha Dharma flourish in all 10 directions, and may the sentient beings have happiness. And we also dedicate these merits for the world peace and happiness prevail the world. So may the world be free of pandemics and be free of conflict, wars, and natural disasters.
Doggy Junior,
Sabegi wadi tindang doa kunla kamben da keba jisu lo san dava yi teme ni morin do se je shoi senjo rinpo je ma keba na ki kyu ji keba nyamba me ba yang kune kondo pe wa shoi awe che da kenpa dang kundo sambo de yang de shin de de da kunge che so da lo je kewa de da tang che ra to ngoi rinpo je ma keba na ki kyu ji keba nyamba me ba yang kune kondo pe wa Awa rinpoche ma ke pana ki kyuji ke ba nyamba me ma yang kone kondo be wa jo. Din jang yu ke we den zing kyo me we kun se do bo ze cho sun gu we le me tu tu ba ta so do je kun do sha de jo. Sun do ju be lang che che se se kan jin den du kun cha na pe mo den zing kya so la so a de so shen de lu do jo. Den de ma lu ba kan de jung we sam be yi shin no ka din su me den zing kya so la so a de so du je lu Ra wei ko wei shin gang de pen dang de wa ma lu jung wei ne jie re se wang den jing kya zo wei sha pi si de pa du den yu ji.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Gisela. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Geshe-la.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you.